So I'm just going to describe to you the build plan and what I got going on here. You can see it's kind of in multiple different steps of where it needs to be. Some things are painted out, not necessarily completed as of yet, like they still may need another coat, but I definitely have started the process with a lot of it. So this actually started as, this is a gearbox, actually from an Emerboo Scar. So Emerboo toys used to have their metal, their upgraded Scar with metal gears, high-speed motor, and that kind of thing, and that used a regular Gen 8 gearbox. So I had one of those, and there were some things wrong with it. So since I had to take it all out to open it up and everything, the gearbox was out of it. And I had an idea here and some parts I wanted to use. So we'll go ahead and we're going to use that to drop into a Gen 8 receiver, M4 receiver. So the Gen 8.5 receivers are slightly different sized. And so like a Gen 8.5 gearbox, you can kind of force it into a Gen 8 M4 receiver, but it doesn't fit perfectly. So that's why I'm going ahead with the Gen 8. Now it's upgraded. Like I said, we got metal gears in here, upgraded spring. We'll use an upgraded high-speed motor. So that's kind of that side of it. Now I had this handguard from an HK416C. Now the HK416C receiver looks very similar to an M4, but it's slightly different, whereas it's taller, and especially that top rail is taller. So if you turn it, if you use this handguard and you're able to use an adapter to put it on upside down, that typically lines it up. But if you want to put it on straight, that doesn't necessarily work. So I wanted to go ahead and incorporate that and figure out a way to kind of make that all blend together nicely and do something different. So just something I hadn't done before. So that's what we're going to see here. Now, because of the way I'm going to be mounting the special rail and everything on here, I'm going to be deleting the charge handle completely. So there's a little filler piece that'll go in there to make that look nice, but you're still going to have priming. So what I did was basically I'm going to have priming right here where you're just going to push this wire, or excuse me, push this button. That's going to push down your priming lever, right? And this will just get wired to the primer like normal. So that's what that is. So I thought I'd show you that. Now this is just reinforcement here so that I have a place to actually screw the top rail into. So you're always going to have this point, which was already there, right? But I wanted to add a couple more points. In this place, I'm using heat inserts because rivet nuts would be too big anyway, but also this just makes more sense for heat inserts in this case. So what's going to happen here is this piece, which you can see kind of has some sides and everything, this is going to mount on here. So the reason why I did that is because if I went to this way, now it would line up completely. So I utilized an adapter piece from an MK18 and got that in there so that that's how we could put our front handguard on, right? So now this piece would go here, and the way I built it, they'll line up perfectly, right? So this would just get tightened down. Now the other thing I did, again, just to make it extra strong and robust, is I printed this kind of piece here that'll slide on right here, and it'll basically cover both spots here. That's just going to give more stability, and it's just going to give this, you know, extra rail options. Something I hadn't done before. I thought it would be kind of a cool thing to try here. So that's what will happen with that. Since the charge handle is not going to be there, we're just going to put in like a permanent fake, you know, dust cover there as well. Kind of incorporating this kind of snake skin pattern because I did plan on using this stock, the Python stock, which has kind of the snake skin in it. However, I might end up going a different route since I'm using the desert tan, and we're going to end up seeing, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to use that stock or not anymore, but we're still going to have those accents, which is fine. It's a pattern I haven't used before. Made this front piece here as well. So this would go on here, okay? And then this red barrel is just going to go through the inside, and that's going to kind of function as an outer barrel and give it some stability. And then you'll have your threaded tips, and they're taped off because whenever I paint, I make sure not to paint the threads. So that gives you an idea of how it's going to look right now. I definitely like how the handguard looks like this. And again, this extension piece just allowed for a more standard size, longer barrel. So I think that'll turn out really cool. Now, the other thing I was working on, and you can see it's in a different kind of step in the process, was to go ahead and incorporate some sort of kind of knuckle duster type attachment as well. So with the handle here, then this piece would mount on here. And actually, if I put this in all the way, this would go like right about here. And this is just kind of a top piece that clicks on to kind of hold it in place. So the goal is to probably paint this out in khaki, but obviously I need to go ahead, drill some holes through here, and then I drop rivet nuts through here from that direction. And that's what's going to screw in tight and kind of hold everything in place. So overall, it's going to have a kind of a futuristic vibe. I guess anytime I think I put a knuckle duster on, it makes me think a little more futuristic. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out, because then I use more traditional colors. But overall, I think it's going to be cool. And again, I'm just trying to do something new and different I haven't done before, so that none of these are very repetitive and that you're seeing all different kinds of builds. So again, the 3D files are really a lot of files that I've taken and manipulated on my own. Like this was completely, custom designed, kind of started with one file that's been basically completely changed. I mean, this is involved using stacking multiple files. This is a straight up just, you can print this file, and then again, these pieces I print for the dust cover are things that I kind of design and manipulate too. All right, so there's a quick rundown. Not sure what we're going to call it. It's, combination Emerboo, Scar Gearbox, Gen8 M4, HK416. It's got a lot of things going on. So comments or questions, post them below. Of course, check back to see the completed product and, of course, the demo and everything to check out all the performance. Thanks.